music is a completely universal art form. I mean, you know, drama, fear, pity, envy, hate, love, humour, everything belongs to music. Because music is very much about the listener as much as the person playing it. So I think that's not just lyrics, that's also, I mean, it's very much music, isn't it? It's the fact that, because I'm always amazed because I always love it when people sort of get in touch with me and say how they love my playing and I've inspired them or whatever, and what they've heard isn't necessarily what I was trying to put out. So it's like, that's the whole thing, you know, that's the joy of music, is that it is essentially abstract. And so it's, you can, as a listener, you can tailor it to make it do whatever you want. You know? Well, they fit together really well in that what I do as a stand-up comedian is tell stories about my life as a bass player. So that's good, but it's also really good because a lot of people get to my age and they get what I call sideman bitterness. They have this thing of they've just been in the shadows their whole life, and they kind of get, ooh, where's my share? You know, which is just, I think, ridiculous, because you know, there's nothing ever stopped anyone from standing up the front. But so for me, but everyone does have that element of ego and everything. For me, that it takes, because it's just me and I'm on my own, and it all lives and dies by me, and it gets lost, and it's incredibly satisfying in a completely different way. And also I get very nervous about doing it, I get very scared doing stand-up, whereas I don't get at all scared playing bass, you know. And so it's really nice to get that feeling that you used to get when you were young, you know. So it's good to have that, and it just takes care of all sorts of things. And so it just means that when I go back to my day job, being a bass player, I'm perfectly happy to be back at the back, you know, because I've had my fill of up the front. But the funny thing about doing comedy is that for years, when you're a musician, for years people are always coming up to you and saying, oh, you're so lucky to do something you love. Oh, it must be so great to have a job you love. Oh, to do something you love. Oh, brilliant, you've got a job to do something you love. And then you go, I do stand-up comedy. You're so brave! Oh, you're so brave! And it's like, it's a completely different, you're brave, what a brave person you are to do. And you're like, well, I suppose it is in a way, but it's like, I haven't become a fireman. It's still the same kind of self-serving, needy, look at me, you know, affirmation, looking for love thing. So they're very different and very much the same. I hate solo bass records, generally. I don't. It's not the right instrument. And I find all bass stuff ends up, no matter how brilliant the musician, to me it all ends up sounding the same. There's that solo, there's that slap thing, there's that, you know. And I like the job that the bass does, you know. And I don't, you know, I like songs. I'm a lover of songs, and you know, and what I love to do as a bass player is serve a song.
Gary Moore?
Gary Moore, yeah, he was amazing. Love working with him.
What did you do with him?
I did an album called Dark Days in Paradise and a tour, which was during his kind of somewhat ill-considered and best forgotten drum and bass period. But it was really, really great fun. He was an amazing musician. There were only 3 of us doing the tour. We toured all around Europe. It was really good fun. And he's an extraordinary musician. I love Gary. And he always had an open ear, very open ear for anything that was happening. And Johnny is just one of the finest people to ever walk God's earth. I could not praise that man enough. I love him. Yeah, he's like a sort of punk Gilmour. So, you know, David and Johnny, I think, are 2 sides of the same coin. They're both an orchestra. And do you know the thing I love about Johnny? And Phil Manzanera actually is the same. Is that you know that every morning Johnny Marr wakes up and it's like it's Christmas Day. He's 8 years old and he's just been given his first guitar. Like, oh! And that's how he is about the guitar, all day, every day. And I really envy that. Well, because David's whole thing is, you know, everything is about tone with him. It's all about sound, and it's extraordinary the way he works. He'll just spend all day in the studio just playing things, you know, just looking for a sound. And then once he's got his sound, bam, the execution is nothing. It's one take. It depends who I'm playing with, and with I don't naturally as a player, well, because you kind of haven't been allowed to, unless you're a metal guy, which I'm not. It's quite funny because I'm actually doing a project at the moment. I'm doing a band project called Atlantic. It's a friend of mine, James Wiltshire from the Freemasons, who are big dance producers. And we're trying to make a disc. We're making like the Great Lost Album of 1979. We're making it's basically like a chic record, but only with all the bottom ends that you get on a modern club record. Because I think if you put a chic record on in a club now, it sounds like that. Yeah. You know, so he's worked out a way to use all those instruments. But if you put it on next to a will.i.am record, nothing goes away. You know? And it's been interesting to study what all the young sort of dance people are doing now. And like all the people who are doing dubstep, they're suddenly trying to make 80s records. You know, they're trying to make Jam and Lewis records, which is brilliant. And so the other day we were working on a track, and I got my octave pedal out, which was my trademark. And I'm playing all this stuff. And I was saying to James, isn't this actually against the law to do it? He's going, no, they love it. They love it. Brilliant.